When I ask you what are the big three Cartoon Network shows, you might say a bunch of old shows like Codename Kids Next Door, Ed and Eddie, Powerpuff Girls. But once they were all long gone, we entered the 2010s, and three cartoons dominated the scene: Regular Show, Adventure Time, and The Amazing World of Gumball. I've gone in depth about why these shows are so loved in my video. Click the I here, or click the link in the description down below. But right now, I want to focus on Gumball. You see, I always found the show to be the funniest out of the three. It had stupid humor.
I think he's more scared of us than we are of him. Let's run the scary!
Get away from me, you creepos!
Meme references.
See, I can take it. Try me.
Okay. Going to try and scare you, okay? Be prepared, because you just don't know when the sun...
And constantly broke the fourth wall.
What's going on? I guess it's like what people say. Without money, you're nothing.
What are we going to do?
It was the most meta Cartoon Network show since, I'd say, Chowder. While it's hilarious, I'd argue it's just as dark. You see, there's one episode where the show completely changed, where the show began to have a main story. An episode that terrified me, but also obsessed me with the show. This is the episode called The Void. The episode begins like usual, with Gumball and Darwin watching cheerleading practice, when they can clearly see something's wrong. These girls, plus Leslie, are failing their routine pretty miserably. While Gumball blindly supports them because he has a crush on Penny, Darwin doesn't because of how badly they're messing up. And he says this:
they're kind of a train wreck that like a truck crashed into and then the whole thing sunk into a lake and managed to catch fire and exploded.
And they all get Mortal Kombat fatality'd.
Alright, I guess they didn't explode, but you have to admit that was...
See what I mean by this being the funniest show? Honestly, the girls probably would do better if they were drinking GamerSupps, the sponsor of today's video. I'm gonna keep this real brief. This drink slaps. My favorite flavor is guacamole gamer fart. Use the link I've posted down below to get free samples, or get a discount by just using my code OILIAS to get 10% off your order. Anyways, it was clear that a person was missing in this practice. And as Gumball and Darwin speculate, Mr. Small, the guidance counselor, comes in, saying,
"Stuff goes missing all the time in this town. Everyone pretends it doesn't happen, but I say it's a conspiracy."
And he wears his tinfoil hat to stop his memory from being erased. He states that he lost the love of his life, Janice. Gumball and Darwin straight up ask him how he knows Janice didn't go out for milk or something. Super out of pocket. He just laughs it off and says that would be impossible. This is subtle foreshadowing for when we find out who Janice really is.
Look for what's not there. Look for what doesn't make sense.
While Gumball and Darwin are chatting at their locker, Darwin says he does feel like something is missing too. Something that used to be at school, but now it's completely gone. And that's when they look back at their locker, and we see a locker number missing. We get this creepy shot. We see this line down the earth that's made things look extremely uneven and out of place. It's really eerie. Also, leave a comment down below your favorite Amazing World of Gumball episode and why. Also, please leave a like and subscribe while you're down there. The two decide to check the school yearbook, and they come across the cheerleading squad.
I mean...
Stop!
And what do you know? Someone is missing. Like they've been completely erased. Gumball thinks long and hard, and a name pops up into his head.
It's Molly.
Who the hell is Molly? Real quick, let's go back to season 1, to the episode called The Pressure. Back in season 1, there was this dinosaur called Molly. In the episode The Pressure, we see all the girls chilling in her treehouse. They're all super impressed by it, but then their attention gets diverted to seeing the boys goofing off. Masami, the cloud girl, is kinda horny and starts talking about how they should kiss them instead of watching them. Yeah, she straight up says that. All the girls lie about themselves having boyfriends when Masami says outright that Darwin is her boyfriend, which is also a lie. Anyways, she basically forces Darwin to be her boyfriend, borderline harasses him, and at the end of the episode, Gumball and Darwin are in Molly's treehouse when their respective dates want to kiss them. Gumball wants to kiss Penny, while Darwin is terrified and starts running away from Masami. Outside, Tobias and Banana Joe, who've constantly been telling Gumball and Darwin,
"Pals before gals,"
decide to take matters into their own hands, and they f***ing cut down Molly's treehouse. As it falls, the two have their eyes closed, ready to kiss their dates, when this happens. The two don't even realize that they've kissed each other, and they say they enjoyed it. Now, why do I bring this episode up? Well, let's get back into the void. Gumball and Darwin start asking their friends about Molly, but they don't remember her. They then go to Mr. Small and tell him that he was right, and he decides to go back to the missing locker. Mr. Small looks closely inside the gap between the two lockers and spots something lodged in there. After using a pin to take it out, they find a photo of Molly and her treehouse, and memories begin flooding back. They then head to where her treehouse was. On the way, Gumball and Darwin ask Mr. Small if he remembers Molly, and he says he does, because he always wears a tinfoil hat. He describes Molly as boring.
And, no, that's it. She was just boring.
Yeah, that's it. She was just boring. His theory is that the world of Elmore is a place filled with really weird creatures and things that shouldn't really exist, and sometimes the world just makes mistakes. And he straight up says that Molly was a mistake the world made. That
Be pretty bummed to have come up with someone as boring as Molly.
That's brutal. Mr. Small then trips on a similar gap they saw back at the locker, only this time it's where Molly's treehouse is. It's like the world folded in on itself. And we see this cool but eerie camera movement where the world essentially becomes 2D. They're all shocked at what they're witnessing when Gumball's head gets shoved in between the lines. They pull him out and the three of them spread the gap and we see static. After some hesitation from Gumball's end, Darwin pushes him and Mr. Small in. This is when we get introduced to the Void, a place, like Mr. Small said, where all the world's mistakes go. Let's do a quick lightning round. We see the mullet, which in today's day and age has made a comeback, Darwin's original CGI design, jorts, disco, which honestly was not a mistake, slaps, hairspray, and we even see this guy, which I'll get back to later. Clearly this episode is parodying how trends kind of die out, and this show's explanation of it is that they just get sent into the void. While Mr. Small goes looking for Janice, the two come across Molly's treehouse and find her inside, but she's frozen. After just touching her, she turns around and acts like nothing even happened, saying that she saw them yesterday. They politely tell her that it's been a year, and that the world thought that she was a mistake. She then says this:
I do loads of cool stuff. I collect pencils. I got red ones, I got blue ones, I got yellow ones, I got...
Honestly, she sounds kind of interesting. They grab her and realize the portal back to Elmore is slowly closing, so they sprint. Meanwhile, Mr. Small is still looking for Janice and eventually finds her. That's when we hear Gumball and Darwin say,
I'm guessing librarian, flower t-shirt.
Yeah, and thick prescription glasses.
and we see that actually Janice is not a person, it's a van. A good time as any because the portal's almost closed. As they're about to leave, we see this creature and it looks like Crazy Frog.
Run him over.
You remember Crazy Frog?
Run him over.
Why is that a mistake? Isn't this song equivalent to the Gummy Bear song? Was that a mistake? Anyways, after Darwin kisses the van, because it runs on good vibes, it speeds up and they eventually make it out of the void. The group is stun locked and realizes that their world will never be the same, that they have to go tell people about it. But unfortunately, this happens.
But how could we forget something like that?
What were we talking about again?
So now they've completely forgotten, and the void remains hidden. A small plot hole though is how Molly forgets, despite her not wearing a helmet. Now, why was Molly considered a mistake? A theory I have is that because of the events of The Pressure, where Gumball and Darwin kissed, the world of Elmore decided, let's forget about this weird, incestuous, disgusting experience, and completely erase Molly and her existence, since the event took place at her treehouse. I love the concept of a character disappearing, but there's still remnants like the photo and the way the world folded in on itself, like it swallowed her whole.
It's just strange. One day someone's walking around, going to work, alive, and then
Nothing.
people just disappear.
The earth just opens up and swallows them.
Eerie. Really eerie.
Now, this episode is arguably the most important episode in the show. This is when the show starts to have a main storyline. Up until this point, a lot of the episodes were anthological. They were all one-offs. Sure, there was always continuity and tie-ins, but in the grand scheme of things, you didn't need to watch every episode to figure out what was going on. I mean, just take a look at the season 2 finale, titled the same name. In this episode, the Watersons are bombarded with the repercussions of their actions in season 1, all at once, to the point where there's even a massive kaiju fight. By the end of the episode, they come up with a solution, make things go from bad to worse, and it may solve itself. And this is how it ends.
This is it! It's all over! The end of the Watersons! The only thing that can save us is reality being completely reset by some kind of magic device!
Yeah, just credits. And in season 3, it's like the episode never happened. The Amazing World of Gumball, out of the 3 GOATs of the 2010s, is the most meta Cartoon Network show. The characters make fun of their own voice actors becoming older and subtly hint that they're aware their voices are getting replaced.
It's hard to say. I guess that's the good thing about being fat. It fills out all the wrinkles.
What was that? Dude, what's going on? I sound even younger than before.
The Void is the writers poking fun at how they forgot certain side characters and decided to make a whole episode about trying to remember them. However, another big reason as to why I believe this episode changed the show is for the episodes that come after. You see, I pointed out this character here. We see him in the background in season 1, but he barely has any speaking roles.
The funniest thing happened. See that hole?
Darwin! I can't believe you just did that!
Did what?
I don't remember.
Like Molly, he too was sent into the void. We see him show up in The Nobody. Here he's gone through a drastic redesign, and even as the audience, we don't recognize him because it's been so long since we last saw him. Gumball and Darwin eventually get his memories back, and he remembers that he was in the void, banished for being one of the world's mistakes. After this, he becomes the final boss of the show, becoming a nemesis to the main duo. The void shows up in a lot more episodes to come, becoming this looming threat that although the characters don't know about because their memory keeps getting wiped, we as the audience do. And unfortunately, the final moments of the show show the entire world of Elmore disappearing into the void, seemingly being completely erased. You see, there are loose ends that need to be tied up, primarily that painting that Banana Barbara painted. In the episode The Oracle, Banana Joe's mother can paint the future. She predicts everything that happens in the episode, and no matter how hard Gumball tries to change the future, it happens anyway. The end of the episode shows us this, where we see the Wattersons running around in a place that looks like the void, yet even in the supposed finale, The Inquisition, we never see this exact scene. Thankfully though, the show has been renewed for a 7th season, which will hopefully have a cool and satisfying ending. While this video is mostly touching on the episode The Void, let me know if you want a deep breakdown of all the episodes featuring the Void and that story arc, and what it could mean for the future of the show. Please leave a like, subscribe, and comment below your thoughts. Make sure to check out GamerSupps down below with my link. If you like this video, please check out my Adventure Time videos if you haven't already. Thanks for watching.